Soul food, as some may think of it, as an alias for all black cooking in America, takes its origin mostly from a collection of states commonly referred to as the South and the Deep South. During the transatlantic slave trade, slaves were given meager food rations that were low in quality and also lacked nutritional value. With these rations, enslaved people preserved African food traditions and adopted traditional recipes with the resources that were available. Over time, these recipes and techniques have become the soul food dishes with what we are familiar with today. This food category, if you will, now associated with the comfort and decadence, was born out of struggle and survival. In some African American communities, soul food brought families together. Soul food brought families together, and even the community that were not family members, they had a seat at the table, and it was welcoming. These dishes were prepared by big mamas, the Madeiras, the Medias, the grandmas, the mamas, the aunts, and the aunties. Soul food has a rich and important history that ties black culture back to its African roots. And that history is deeply reflected in the staple recipes and techniques. In soul food cooking, it's considered a family cuisine inspired by African Americans. Now, what I'm about to say is somewhat subjective, but a typical soul food plate would consist of an entree. That's your fried chicken, your fried fish, catfish to be exact, but we'll even throw in chitterlings, aka chitlins. And, well, how about we just leave the chitlins right there for right now? I mean, they are a delicacy, but we'll just leave it right there for right now. And then you'll have your sides, which are your mac and cheese, your greens, your sweet potatoes, your yams, and you gotta have that cornbread on the side, just to name a few. I'm talking hot water, I'm talking baked, I'm talking fritters, and you gotta have that black skillet that's so hard to wash. And it's a must on the side that you have a bottle of hot sauce. Your choice, your preference. Because you know what? We put that on everything. We put that on everything.
We put that on everything.
And it doesn't hurt. How can I forget? It doesn't hurt to have that slow brewed sun sweet tea. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Now, for the sake of time and contribution, I would like to briefly share with you one of my favorites, which are the greens, y'all. I'm talking turnips, collards, mustards, and even some people will go mixed. Again, it's your preference. Now, you can find greens in your local grocery, your local marketplace, or even your local community gardens. You want to make sure, however, that you don't have too many frayed edges or bitten edges on those. This could be a sign of bad fertilization for the greens or even bugs that try to make the leaves their new home. Now, rinsing and cleaning the leaves and stems is a tenet for sanitizing your greens. Some may take shortcuts and purchase the pre-cut bag of greens. No, that's cheating. But to me, they have a lot of stems in them anyway, and you want to stay away from the crunchy greens, right? We're talking good texture. I prefer a fresh batch and cutting the stems off for that all leaf texture. Now, cutting the greens can be challenging, so if you're not used to sharp objects, be careful when trying this on your own, because you're going to have to stack the greens, cut the stems off, roll them up, and cut them or chop them to your desired size. Let me take it back. During the slavery era, greens were boiled in pork, fat, and seasonings with a combination of whatever vegetables that were left over at the time. You can mix virgin olive oil, vinegar, and have your desired seasonings. And you want to slow cook them. We're not frying greens here. It's a bake, it's a broth, it's a boil, it's a slow cook. So if you have fragrances of the home, your plugins, or if you have candles lit, please understand the greens are going to take all of that over. But it is a sweet and a beautiful aroma that will fill your house. I'm actually getting hungry just thinking about it. Now, most important, right? You do not throw that juice that the greens make, right? There's a pre or parallel cook to the greens, and then there's also mixing your ingredients in the greens, which could form a broth, right? That broth is called the pot liquor or the pot liquor. It can be done in parallel and mix it within the greens, and it makes it so yummy and so tasteful. And I promise you can make the greens as a dish of their own, right? So what's in a pot liquor, right? This is preference. I prefer smoked turkey. Some put fat back, onions, minced garlic, bell peppers, broth, adobo, peppers, garlic salt, garlic powder, garlic salt. Again, some of this may not be for you, but we're talking preference and seasons here, right? And when you get that, you want to, when you get that pot liquor, right? After you're done with those greens or midway through, drain that pot liquor, because you want to go back to that cornbread that I mentioned earlier, right? That bake, that hot water or those fritters, and dip that into that pot liquor. It makes for a yummy stew, if you will. You can even take the cornbread and break it up and mix it into the pot liquor, which can make its own source of the meal itself. And I'll be honest with you, it has been known and said that pot liquor has been used as a primary source to even heal common colds. I mean, I'm just saying, that's what I heard, right? But this style of eating, ladies and gentlemen, is from various traditional dishes from Africa, right? Whether it's injera from Ethiopia, or fufu from Nigeria. Many African countries have a practice of dipping a staple starch into a vegetable and meat-based gravy. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to share with you during Black History Month as we hone into some of the soul food dishes. Mine today was greens. I hope you enjoy. Try it out and let me know what you think.